Hi, everyone is here. Someone is okay. So I think we can start. Hi, my name is Konrad Hanus, and at Intiv, because I am a worker on Intiv, I think if I work as a principal software developer, so it doesn't mean I'm a React developer. Sometimes I conduct the trainings or the meetups like or today. After the work, I'm developing my own project with my own team in the React Native about the personality types. It's called Lorini Tribes. You can check on the some store. But today I will have a fun. Today we will write the game in the JavaScript and HTML5 in the Canvas and React, of course. So let's start with my rich life. I will tell you a story about the project. I had a project, quite big. I code a little, I solved the problems, and that project touched machine learning also. I had a friend there who did what I did. I like the approach from the extreme programming. In my project, we had something like 10% time for our purposes. We could devote this time for something that will allow to us to develop. We can take a programming language course or read a book about the JavaScript or coding something in our project to improve something in our project that we never had a time. So I've tried to interesting my friend for a new idea to learn together and introduce new feature from React to our project. I suggest that we can meet together in each of the Friday morning, of course, and try to write something together. So I take a piece of paper and drew something like this. The answer was that one. So I only confirmed that we both have outstanding graphical skills. So I spent a weekend finding the right assets for our game. I think about the name of that game. So Jira generates some shortcuts, unfortunately, based on the name of our project name, our real project name. Jira used only 3 characters and some numbers to the ticket. So if our project is seen, we can name our game the Sinners, because we are members of that team. So I made the logotypes. That's it. And if the game can be about our team, then we are the sinners. If we have a name, so let's write a game. The game was basically meant to be a platform game inspired by classic Super Mario Bros. We have a hero, our player, who has a smashing a box. We need to collect good quality coin, and avoid user access monster. Our hero has to get to the wizard to deliver the good quality code coin to him. Today I would like to share you with my adventure, a couple of the code of my experiments, and I would like to encourage you to experiment. I will be happy if the presentation inspire anyone to that thing. The whole repository will be available after my presentation, so that each of you can build on what I said here. Try to write your own game. So I believe that discovering new things for fun is extremely effective for the learning, and the knowledge gain can actually be applied later in any other project. I want to show you today that experimenting something sometimes not perfect can bring you pretty cool results. So in my game, I use React library to build my menu to use as skeleton for our file structure folder. For us was pretty handy because we don't care about the process of building and deploying it, so we can spend more time to writing the game. For sure, there was some of new features which we can apply in our projects. So for us, this solution is pretty nice. I create first main screen to select 3 different heroes: the barbarian, wizard, and warrior. So I will show you some live example how it look like now. So we switch to start screen, and we can see how it look like now. I can choose the, for example, warrior, and I can see on the browser selected hero first. So I will back to the presentation now, and so let's start by creating a simple field of our game. We will use the Canvas API for this, which we can use in the browser. I'm using React, so I can make my own hooks, which was use Canvas. And also I pass the information about how much large should be that canva to connect the window inner width and inner height to my canvas. So now I can go to the presentation, to the live demo, and I will show you how it looks like now. Check out Canvas, and we can go to the browser. And as you can see, we can see the Canva on our browser, and every time when I will change the size of my screen, that height will be changed also. So, okay. So let's add the first platform. I will add using the Canva property, which have a method which is draw image, and we can pass the assets for it, the position, the width and height to that asset. My first asset will be the platform, which I will try to draw in my main animate loop and display it on the browser. So let's check it. And as you can see, I can see the first block on the screen. Do you see it? No? Why? Oh, was there some lag? Oh, okay, you can see it. Nice. So, next thing. I can add the background. Background, I will add the same as I adding the blocks. So I need to create a new background class and pass the proper image for that background, put that position, and draw in my animate loop. So it will be the same thing. So I will go to the Git Kraken and check out it. And now I can see the background and the first block. Let's go next. How we can create the whole level? We can made it using in the very simply way. I think we can use array of array. So I have an array inside another array, which will be represent the first row in my grid, and I will represent that blocks by the numbers. So for example, 1 is a dirt, which is pretty nice on the left side, the dirt which is in the middle, and the dirt which have very nice smooth edge on the right side. And then I will create this one loop which display which generated that levels platform, and pass that thing to the main loop. So I will replace one block to that loop, which will be drawing each of the platform in that way. So I can try to do some example, of course. And now, if you can check, we see No, we cannot see. Why? Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. So we can see the first level created by our arrays of arrays. So let's talk about the animation loop. For now, our function animation loop was only the function which was run only once. But now I can try to do some animation inside it. So for it, I need to do something which will be call my animate in each of the next frame. So for that one, I will use the request animation frame. That request that the browser call a specified function to update animation before the next repaint. That method take callbacks as an argument to be invoked before the repaint. So I can pass to my animation loop, pass to the request animation frame my function animation loop with the next state of my animation. So okay, so let's try to do that. Okay. Okay, nice. We can see the same view, and I added also our hero, which is actually levitating in our blocks. So now let's check how much FPS we have in our game. So I tried to write some very simple function which check in each of the half second how much frame is inside my loop. So we can try to check it, and we can see what will be the result of it. Okay. And now we see something like 480 FPS. So pretty big number. Probably because I have a M1 processor in my old laptop was pretty less. So yeah, for me it was much surprise. It was too fast for that game. As we know, Super Mario Bros. Was run only to the 60 FPS, I guess. So, but later on we will try to handle it. Let's talk about the gravitation. How we can add the gravitation of our game. So we have a player which is displayed as a block, and in each of the next frame we need to add some value to just putting that player a little bit down. So we can improve our player class and add the constant value, which will be gravity. Gravity is 1.5 pixel. In the each of the next frame, we will add that value to our velocity, that y, to our player. So I will try to imitate that falling down. So we need to do that kind of animation. For now, we do not have any collision detection, so probably that player will be falling down to the underground. So let's try to check it, and we can. Yes, and it's working as I said. So I will put the wizard, and as you can see, it was fall down. Very fast, of course. So let's try to make the first platform collision detection. We can turn off the gravity when we will sure that the player will be above that platform and will be on the same x-axis and y-axis as is on the block. So the player should be on the above of the platform. So we can add that platform collision detection to our animation loop, and then we can have some first platform collision detection. So let's check out that and let's see. as you can see, our barbarian now is on the top. So, what's next? Let's try to do some, let's tap life into a hero. And now we must add the player movement. We will use the arrow buttons on the keyboard for this. And in our keyboard, each of the keys have their own key code. For example, arrow left have a 39 and 38 is for the arrow up. So we need some listener to interact that action when the user will click the right button. Every time when the user click that button, that listener will be listen and passing that information to our class for the position of the player and adding some velocity, but in that time for the x-axis. For example, in the first frame will be 100 pixels, that player position will be 100, but in the next one will be 105, and next frame 110, and so on. In the, for example, next 17 FPS will be 200. So how we can make it? Of course, when I'm using the React, I can use event listener hooks who will be passing that user handle user key down press or key up press, and for that two methods we will have that function which will be just listen when that key code will be pressed or unpressed. So if it will be unpressed, then I will change that flag to false. So, and of course, in my animation loop, I need to add that function player movement, which just adds the player speed, which we have and our velocity, or the minus player speed when we will go to the left side. When each of the key will be unpressed, then velocity will be 0, so our player will be waiting in the same position as before. So let's and how we can handle the jump in the same way, but we need to listen about the key up and add the in the y-axis. We need to add in the next frame when we click the up. Then in the next frame we need to add, for example, 20 pixel on the top, and the rest will be handled by the gravitation, which we are implementing before. So let's try do some live presentation with check out that movement. And now we have some. Okay, it's working. So it's pretty fast. It's too fast for me. Okay, so of course we can combine these two arrows key because we have in the same loop, so it's working pretty cool. Yeah, very fast. So it's so fast for me. So how we can made only that game in the 60 FPS. So how we to slow down our game? As I said before, Mario Bros had 60 FPS, exactly 58, and the game was delicious. I do a little bit for a search on the internet, and I found the code that does do this. So I added that code, and the movement is much better. So just I need to pass that information, how much FPS I should have, and omit some of the frame in my main loop. So let's try to do some presentation. So when I refresh that page, then I can see only almost 60 FPS, and our game is much smoothly, and it's working much better. So great. So what we need to add now? Let's try to at a longer level. So I've made a little bit longer arrays of arrays with different blocks and so on. And let's try to check it. And what we can see? We can see something like that. So it's full working game, so perfect. But we have one issue. When we are go to the right side, our player is missing, is going outside our screen. So how we can handle that kind of the things? Because as we know, Mario Bros was side-scroller game, and all the backgrounds and platforms was moving when the player is going on the right side, and that one is going on the left side. So that thing is about the parallel effects. So it's working in that way. Our player is stopped in the invisible line in the sum of the pixel. For my game will be around 400 pixels or something like that. And after, when it's close to that line, then the background is going on the left different direction, and we see some imitation of the movement of our player. So we can do that. We need to put the position of the right side and also on the left side. We have a two line, and it depends of which of the key and the player was clicked. Then we can just stop position, stop moving that player, but start doing the parallel effects. And that parallel effects we can implement in that way. We can add the different speed for platform and different speed for the background, because when we have a different speed for the background, the less speed, then that one is like in our real life, because when something is closer than us, is moving faster than something is on the background. So let's do the live example for it. So and the last thing is the parallel effects. So, and when the player go to that invisibility line, we can see something like that. So nice. Okay. What I show you today is just a beginning by using that mechanism. We are able to make a really nice game. Next step will be probably add the enemy, make a multiplayer, port that game to using the PWA or the mobile phone. Whether to wrap in the React Native, I don't know. Building this game, I had a lot of fun. I used couple of methods from React and Canvas. It all started with a simple sketch. I recommend everyone to experiment and have a fun while learning. Please do not be afraid to make mistakes, and can learn something from every failure. And my failure was to write that game using the HTML and div elements in the first time, and later on I changed my decision and tried to do the same using the Canva. And I can sum up that's my presentation, and the best way to learn self is teaching someone else, because teach others, you learn more. So, before I share you the source code that I promise on the beginning, I would like to mention that using a simple programming technique in project give great opportunities. If you see added value into it, you can always join to our team. We are still have an open position. And my game is on the website, the sinners reactblog.pl, and of course you can grab that link, and there is a source code for my presentation, so you can just grab it and try to, based on it, make your own platform game. Thank you very much.
Okay. We don't have a lot of time, so just A quick question first. Is this available on GitHub, the
Yes.
code you were switching through? Okay. So send it somewhere where people can find it. And there's... I had a question picked. Okay. Are games created in front-end technologies, HTML, React, in the browser, more exposed to cheaters?
Cheers?
Cheaters. Someone who in a multiplayer game would want an unfair advantage.
I don't know. Can be, probably. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Is it 13 kilobytes?
No. It's much, much more, I guess.
Try compressing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.